advice and also to respond to some issues that are of public concern, as well as to get feedback through the fourth estate on some of the issues that require our response or intervention. I will begin with the issues concerning the return of students to school. Schools reopen this week for their first term. Security and safety of learners remains a top priority for all stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, we have parents or guardians, we have the schools, we have the financial institutions, we have the transport sector leaders, because all those are very crucial. In respect to transport-related issues and traffic, I'll leave that for Comrade Kananura to handle. But my communication as an advisory goes to parents and guardians first. At such moments, we always give you some of these tips, and these tips are based on our observation of what usually transpires during your interaction with the schools, students. We register cases, we register complaints, there are cases in court. So derived from that, we usually come up with these pieces of advice. The first is we encourage parents to escort young children, especially lower primary children, and also the girl child, to and from school where possible. We say this because we've registered the cases of defilements before. We've registered cases where children disappear. So a juvenile is preferably escorted by an adult where possible. Second, we also encourage early morning. We discourage early morning or late evening movements, and we encourage the use of main routes and these pupils walking in groups. Again, this one is also based on our observations, where you find that most of the cases reported in violation against the rights of children, you find that these were the gaps. Probably a child was isolated. Probably that child was walking at awkward hours. You are all aware that there are children who withdraw from school, that coming due from preps, and you find that they are moving at very awkward hours, amidst also a reality that there are wrong elements who waylay them and exploit them as vulnerable people. We also give an advisory that parents should monitor what children carry. Objects. Their children, if not monitored, can carry offensive objects or tools. There are those who may carry drugs, illicit drugs. It is not anymore hidden that some of our young people at times involve themselves in the consumption of drugs, alcohol. So it is at such a moment that we feel it necessary as the police force to give you this piece of advice. There is also and advice in respect to the health of children. We encourage parents to share medical details of children. Before, we have registered the cases where a parent does not reveal certain medical complications of a child, and when those complications escalate, and unfortunately sometimes even to fatal outcomes, where you find, let's say, a child has passed on, the parent turns the anger to the school. And before you realize, the reputation of the school is put on a weighing scale. Sometimes police will investigate these issues and actually find that the school was innocent, but the name will have been damaged. So we encourage that you share that record with the school. You may find that the child is supposed to be excused from any form of exercises, any form of work. So some of these things at times have caused the friction between parents and the school. Feeding. And as police, we speak from experience, where we witness parents and schools conflicting. When it comes to transportation, just to share a few. We have also witnessed incidents where children are overloaded, but anyway, Kananura, you will give more of this. Lastly, in respect to the parents, we encourage that you keep in contact with the teachers and agree on the picking, the routines on how these children should be picked from school and should be dropped. I think it is not far away from, I think it was last time, we registered a case where a parent, we have been registering these cases where a parent drops a child and the other parent picks that very child. Now, because of their domestic misunderstandings, they bring their conflict and drag in the school. So sometimes you find the school does not have very clear protocols on who should drop and pick the child. So you find one parent accusing the school of having allowed the other parent to pick that child. But when police will come in, we realize that essentially there is a conflict between the two parents. So you find the school is being dragged into a conflict, and before you realize, their reputation is on the chalkboard. Then we also give school proprietors and administrators also an advisory. The first recommendation is that you strengthen access control to the school. You record visitors. One of the concerns we have noted, you find a visitor registering by one name, Mike. Now, when we come to carry out an investigation to trace who particularly collected this child, when we come back to the records, you find that there was an element of negligence when records were being collected or registered. Check vehicles. It's very, very essential. And ensure security presence, especially at the gates. So that is very, very important. Verify persons picking children. It's crucial. Like I've said, some of these parents have conflicts. And if you do not verify the picking and dropping processes, you can be dragged into their conflicts. I have mentioned it that you need to inspect you need to inspect students' luggage because some carry prohibited and dangerous items. Inspect school facilities for safety hazards, broken buildings, open manholes. We have already said that children by their nature are very playful persons. If a child fell in one of your uncovered manholes, you certainly will not go away free. It can have a bearing both on your reputation, but also it has legal consequences. Faulty wiring, children coming into contact with the live wires. At times, you can register a fatality. So all these, we always wish to remind you whenever schools are reopening. Firefighting. Do you have a fire extinguisher? You are a school of more than 3,000 students. What is your capacity to fight a fire? Are those fire extinguishers working? Do they know how to use them? So all these are very important, and we request you to take them serious. Because in any case, we have registered these accidents before, where you want a police firefighting truck to come and put out a very small fire, which you would have done or put out instantly. We have also been sharing, and I will repeat, advisories with financial institutions that in this era, we encourage digital payment channels to reduce congestion and cash fraud around the premises of banks. And the best way we advise this is for you to proactively engage these schools so as to promote those safe school payment platforms. But where it is not possible, heightened surveillance around the banking facilities. At times when we want to investigate these cases, you find that there is either limited or poorly functional surveillance facilities like CCTV cameras. Equally, we always encourage that you have police contacts very closely, so that in the event of coming into contact with these fraudsters, you quickly contact the police. So that is my advisory to the stakeholders in respect to the schools opening. The other issue I would like to share with you is to bring to your attention that we made some arrests in Iganga. You recall that Mrs. Natasha Museveni Karugire raised a concern. There are some fellows who created fake TikTok accounts and WhatsApp accounts impersonating her. And when this matter reached us, we swung into action as the security forces and arrested one Isabile Ashraf, Mulondo Rahman, Kakaire Zubair, and Egesa Sharif. We nabbed these fellows from Iganga. They allegedly defrauded people seeking financial help, asking for registration or processing fees, So we followed them using our cyber capabilities and arrested them in Iganga. We found them in possession of a number of SIM cards and phone sets which we suspect were being used in the scam. So we shall be arraigning them before courts of law and charge them with the cyber fraud and impersonation related offenses. But what lessons do we draw from here? There are a number of scams of this nature which we wish to educate the public about and how to go about it. 1, never pay registration or process fees via social media. It is a very loose platform for you to simply fall into for somebody who has laid this scam. We also encourage people to verify offers. Somebody cannot come on social media and place an offer and you immediately fall for it. Do some kind of due diligence or verification. And especially when the offer involves a down payment of some fee. We have seen people fall victim, especially when it comes to application for visas. Surely, why would you apply for a visa through a social media person? Why don't you get directly in touch with the visa handling persons of an embassy or the general embassy? So we are having many of these cases at our police stations, and people are losing very huge amounts, 5 million, 10 million. People going to the Emirates. So now, like for instance, in this particular situation, Mrs. Natasha Museveni is not somebody you can fail to verify about. So why would you go for these goons? So it happened, and their luck ran out, and we nabbed them, and they will certainly face the law. So we encourage you to report fake accounts or suspicious persons. I will be sharing with you police contacts, which contacts I've always mentioned here. When you call them, you are received at police headquarters and action is triggered because they come into our operation room. But before I share the contacts, let me also share with you this other story or issue. In the areas of Chira, that is Wakiso district, we have been carrying out a number of operations. We have come across a number of concerns from our citizens. Some of them mention their concerns on social media. They share their plights. I would like to give you assurances as members of public out there that for any concern raised on whatever platform, we try our level best to follow it up and also to carry out necessary operations to address them. As a result of those concerns in respect to crime around the Kampala metropolitan areas, our officers carried out operations in Chira municipality, one on the 3rd Feb in the area of Chireka, Kamuli, Chaliwajara Market, and NIRA. They nabbed 62 suspects, and 39 of them were charged in respect to being in possession of narcotics, and a number of them were processed. Those whom we find innocent, they are released. And why you find us taking them on essentially narcotics-related charges, we find them in possession. And most of these fellows, they are always found in groupings and certain hotspots. That's where they stretch from to cause mayhem. We also carried out an operation on the 4th in the areas of Kulambiro, Chanja, and Chisasi. 19 of them were arrested, and those were also arraigned before court. And on the 9th Feb, we also carried out arrests in Mulawa and in Sasa. 14 suspects were arrested. In total, we nabbed 95, and the majority of whom were charged. But the message I would like to share is we commend public cooperation and also urge people to report cases or suspicious persons, because our operations shall be continuous. The hotlines I would like to share with you, one is a toll-free, and it is 0801 99 699. The other is 0714 66 77 43. The MTN line is 0776 999 136. When you call these lines, any time of the day or night, you will be received, and your concern shall be shared with the relevant police officer for further necessary action. I thank you. Nja kubaddiramu mu Luganda nti nja kutandika ne message ekwatagana ne okuddayo kw'abaana mu masomero, nga bwe mumanyi nti first term etandika mu wiiki eno, nga tuba tuwa obuwabuzi eri abantu bonna bekikwatako, ekikutandikira ku bazadde n'oteekako amasomero ne ebitongole ebirisiivinga ssente z'abantu nga zi banks, kubanga mwe tusasula school fees z'abaana. Abazadde tubakubiriza mu kadde nga kano mujjukire okuwerekera abaana abato nga baddayo masomero. Tuzze nga poliisi nga turegisteringa emisango abantu enkozi z'ebibi taking advantage ne babawamba, gyegyo emisango gy'otera okuwulira nga baagala ssente ku bazadde. Then era kyekimu ku ekyo naye obuwala, kubanga abo bo bali more vulnerable than ab'obulenzi. Is it, am I correct? Ab'obulenzi? Okay. Yes. So tusaba nti nga abazadde batambula ne bannaabwe nga batambulira mu groups, kubanga tumanyi nti waliwo amasomero agamu agasomesa abaana paka obudde obwawalako. Waliwo olusi bwe muba ndoza mutera okulaba abaana abamu nga bava ku masomero saawa emwezi ekiro. So ekintu ekyo nakyo twagala mukitunulemu ng'abazadde. Abaana bwe muba mubatwala mu bisulo tusaba mukebere nnyo suitcases zaabwe oba boxes ze batwala. Abamu bwe muba temwegendereza bulungi mujja kusanga nga batutte ebiragalalagala ku masomero. Abalala batwala n'ebisi, ebiso, ebintu ng'ebyo, especially abaana ababa bakuzeekuzeemu mu myaka. Then waliwo ensonga endala gye twagala okusharinga n'abazadde era n'abannannyini b'amasomero. Abaana abamu babeera n'endwadde ezimu ez'enjawulo, nga bw'oba tosharinze information eyo ne bannannyini masomero wayinza okugwawo akabi. Especially waliwo abaana b'osanga nga waliwo emmere gye batalya, waliwo amadagala ge batakirizibwa kumira n'ebirala. Siri musawo naye mba njagala mbawa information eno kubanga twali tufunyeeko complaints zino, and usually amasomero n'abazadde usually waliwo bobasanga ku poliisi nga embeera si nnungi. Then ekintu ekirala is engeri gye badropingamu abaana n'okubapiikinga ku masomero. Mu budde obuwedde maaso eyo terms eziwedde twali tureceivinzeeko emisango where omuzadde, especially waliwo abazadde abatakwatagana bulungi, so nosanga nga omuzadde omu abaana gye yabateeka tayagala oli omuzadde omulala aba accessinge. So oli omuzadde omulala bw'agenda naye okukima omwana oyo amukima ate n'amala n'amubuzaawo. So nosanga nti omuzadde ono yali atuteyo abaana lesse nti ye maama, nosanga nga maama aguddewo omusango ku ssomero olw'okukkiriza omuntu atamanyiddwa okutwala omwana we. Emisango egyo tugirina ku poliisi. Yes, tutera ogituulamu ne tugigonjoola, naye gye gigenda okugwera ng'erinnya ly'essomero lifunyeemu obuzibuzibu. So tubakubiriza temugezeeko nnyo okulaba nti ebintu ng'ebyo mubigonjoola n'essomero. Eri bannannyini masomero mugezeeko nnyo okuteekawo security ku miryango n'okukebera abantu abayingira n'abafuluma, because kintu kikulu nnyo. Era nga bwe nkyogeddeko, ani akirizibwa okupiikinga omwana ku ssomero, ani amuleese, rekodi muziwandiise mutya? Bwe tujja enkya okunoonyereza nga poliisi, bwe tukebera mu bitabo byamwe omuntu oyo tusobola okumunoonya ne tumugwako? Kubanga waliwo b'osanga nga bakozeseza erinnya limu nti Mike oba Michael, oluusi n'enamba gye bataddeko digits teziwera. So ebintu ebyo usually bitera okuba ebikulu ennyo nga investigations zitandise. Accidents ku ssomero. Essomero okusanga nga ziyina ebinnya ebitali bibike, pit latrines ezaagala okugwamu, live wire, nosanga nti essomero liyina amasannyalaze agatali mabike oba insulated. Enkya ogenda okuwulira nti omwana yalinnye ku waya, amasannyalaze ne gamukuba. Ebintu bino tubyogera wano naye bitera olusi okutuukirira ate ne tudda mu misango. Swimming pools mbadde muziwulira, I hope muyina protocols ezigaidinga ani akirizibwa mu swimming pool. This time round kansuubire mu briefinga bulungi ba life savers wanga emisango egikwatagana ne swimming pool at least mwena mwali mugiraba wano. Emiriro mubadde mugiwulira ate nga mugiraba, so making sure nti muyina ebirwanisa emiriro gino nga fire extinguishers abayinamu ku obusobozi osobola n'okubeera ne fire horses kwegamba ebipiira bino ebyamaanyiko ebirwanisa emiriro. So tubakubiriza mugezeeko nnyo okugoberera advices zaffe zino. Banks ne institutions endala zonna ezikwata ssente z'amasomero, mu mulembe guno twalibadde tusuubira nti musomesa amasomero n'abazadde okukozesa digital platforms okusasula ssente so that twewale emijuzo ku banks. Kubanga abafere ku banks oluusi nabo bajja ne bakolawo ne babuzaabuza abantu ababaze okubankinga ssente. Then ekyala mube ne surveillance capabilities, CCTV cameras. Oluusi waliwo bwe tujja okukola investigations zikwatagana n'emisango egibagiziza ku bank nosanga nga CCTV system yafa. Oluusi n'engeri gye baba bagisetinzeemu nga teyamba investigations zaffe. So bino byonna tuba tubakubiriza making sure nti mubitunulamu. Nga nvudde ku bya ebikwatagana n'amasomero, waliwo mu maaso awo Mrs. Natasha Museveni Kalugire, muwala wa president w'eggwanga, yajja ne yeemulugumya ku bantu abagulawo account mu linnya lye ku TikTok nezi WhatsApp nga bakozesa ekifaananyi kye. Bano abantu bagenda maaso ne balya ssente ku bantu. Nga security twayenyigiramu ne tusanga nti abavubuka bali bana era nga baoperatingira Iganga nga mwe muli Isabire Ashraf, Mulondo Rahman, Kakaire Zubair ne Egesa Sharif. Bano abavubuka bwe twabakwata twabasanga ne simu cards nyingi ne simu ze baali bakozesa, era bwe twogerera tubayina nga tugenda kubatwala mu mbuga z'amateeka ku misango egyo. Naye kye twagala okukubiriza abantu nti mugezeeko nammwe okubeera abalabufu. Gwe omuntu akusaba atya ssente ng'ali ku mutimbagano nawe n'oziwaayo. Ate emisango gino mingi nnyo gye tutera okuregisteringa abantu nga babasaba ssente okugenda okufuna passports. Ndooza ne mukwano gwange ajja kubabuulira, ate era tutali okukyogerako ndugu Claire atera okubabuulira ku kintu ky'endangamuntu. Surely omuntu w'oku social media akufunira atya endangamuntu? Passport, visas, ate ekya visas kyo emisango tuyina mingi ku police. Bw'oba oyagala visa genda ku kitebe kya embassy eyo. Naye bino nti nze nyamba abantu okufuna zi visa, abo abasinga bonna baffere. Ate oluusi bagenda ne babasingamuko ku magezi nti bw'aba afuna ssente ezo agezaako nnyo okulaba nti bwe tunaba tujja nga poliisi okunoonyereza, buli kamu akozesa obukodyo bungi nnyo. So tugezaako okubalabula nti abantu abo bwe mubafunye musharinge information eyo ne police. Kati ku ekikwatagana lese ne Madamu Natasha muwala wa president, omuntu akwatagana ne amaka ga president muntu mwangu waku tracinga no verifying. Office ya president eina emitimbagano ne kwetadde ne hotlines zaayo. So engeri jojja n'osanga omufere ku social media munaku 2 n'osanga ng'omuwadde sente, ekyo nakyo kyenyamiriza. So tubasaba mugezeeko nnyo obutagwa mu butego bw'abafere bano. Nja kuba nsharinga namwe enamba zaffe za police, naye kansooke mbawe story n'endala. Tuzze tulaba abantu ku mitimbagano gya social media, n'abalala oluusi bajja ne batutuukirira ku bulabe obuba babatuusizaako oluusi ne mu bitundu gye basulamu. So twaze tufunayooko information ekwatagana ne obumenyi bw'amateeka mu areas za Kira municipality, era poliisi yaffe mu weekend yonna ewedde tuzze tukola ebikwekweto, naye twagala n'okubategeeza nti bino ebikwekweto bijja kuba bigenda mu maaso, era bwe twagendera okumalira nga tulina abantu 95 betunyweddemu bwe tukwase, era nga twakola operation nga 3 February mu Kireka, Kamuli, Kyaliwajala ne Nalya, eyo ne tukwatayo 62, twakwatayo abalala 14 nga 9 February, naye waliwo n'abalala be twakwata 19 nga 4 February mu Kulambiro, Kyanja ne Kisaasi areas generally. Nnyo mwebalire ddala. Katufuneyooko ku bibuuzo. Yes. Morning.
My name is Charles Okero. For days now, there is a video of one making a joke in Uganda and in Syria.
church activists and politicians with the offense of inciting violence. We've seen this in the following the just recent concluded elections, where a notable number of them were charged with this offense. While this charge is provided for in the Penal Acts, it is hard to make the connection between the action of the suspects and the idea of incitement of violence itself. And according to the Penal Act, this offense is only committed if the inciter causes another person to commit an offense. Some of the arrests we've seen are a case in point. Dr. Lila Zepeda was charged with this offense, but there is no justification of the incitement of violence that she actually did. So, as police, how will you justify this offense of incitement of violence? What is your justice and wrong for justifying it?
Okay, can we? Yes, ndugu. Thank you.
Starting from there, as police, which was mandated to oversee elections, you have a report about arrested in elections, violence committed, and those that lost their lives in the way of building a job. Another thing is about the great security at the home of opposition leader. I know you might have not seen it, but I'm going to see it. Whereby police is occupying the home. They are really celebrating police being there. As police, what offense which are expressed? What reason do we occupy the presence, occupy the home? So all these things. And then also, I think it's some stories that are going on differently about curfew. Is there a curfew that you guys put in place that you don't know about? That people don't have to know for a certain period of time? People are being arrested under the hindsight of curfew. Some that are really overpopulated, like Chireka and those areas. That's also people know.
Okay. Please, please.
Thank you. Mine is related to Aja's.
To?
To Aja's question.
Yes, yes.
At what point do you hand over a suspect to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution without a statement of the kind of crime they could have committed? Is it possible that you can actually have a suspected individual in your custody and not take statement from them? Two, we've had something, such a thing as a holding charge. Is this incitement of violence one of those? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Lastly. Morning, Dulu.
Mine is, according to the police report, under the examination section, we see that 723, you received 723 unknown bodies in this mortuary, but only 214 were claimed by relatives. And my question is, as the police went over like the 723 unknown bodies at SSA mortuary, what measures is the Uganda Police Force putting in place to improve identification process and help families? Because we understand we are going out of the elections, and most of the people do not know where their people are, do not know where because most of them are saying they are taken by police, which we okay. So, do you move back and trace, for example, the 509 people, those bodies that you buried without any knowledge of them? and you look like you have produced the DNA. Then, secondly, recently, we had the president commenting about the police as a key factor that failed the turnout of the voters. And my question still comes to you, because it was mentioned by the police. What specific loopholes or operation weaknesses within the police have you identified that may contributed to the voter fear, intimidation, or reduce public confidence during the elections? Two, what corrective measures, if you have taken those, what corrective measures or reforms have you as Uganda Police put in place to ensure that police conduct does not negatively affect voter participation in the future elections?
Okay. Okay. Slide. Okay, you two only, surely, because Kanana, do you have information about that taxi? Okay, it's okay, sure. Okay, lastly.
Since we're back and forth up to now, you have the numbers of families around here crimes is political related up to now. N'abantu bawola ng'obadde maybe bamama baabwe bategeere nti gyemu aba balina abantu abo.
Okay. Let me answer you. First and foremost, let me thank you for raising these issues before me. I will begin with my brother Okello. Okello mentions of a joke who was arrested in Syria, and that she is facing charges in Syrian jurisdiction. And his question is as to whether, as Uganda Police Force through our Interpol, have intervened to negotiate on her behalf to bring her home. Ndugu Ojok, this information needs to be verified. I need to consult our Directorate of Interpol if in any way they have made any initiative of this kind. I think that is when I can make an informed opinion about it, or an informed position on behalf of Uganda Police Force. Yes. David mentioned that police charging activists with inciting violence, and according to my brother David, it is very hard to connect the offense to the actions of the accused persons. And is asking what yardstick do we use? There are a number of questions actually which are similar in terms of context to your question. What I would like to say is that in the dispensation of justice in Uganda, there are very many actors. The first is the law enforcement body, particularly the Uganda Police Force. We play our part. From our perspective, if we suspect you to have committed an offense, and a very particular offense, we shall arrest you and we shall propose these, because we bring certain facts before the office of the DPP. Now, it is, you are likely to go free. But by the time the charge is sustained, then it means there is water in what we are saying. That is one. Two, for any charge brought against, it must be in respect to a written law. If it is inciting violence, in the first place, that offense must exist within statute books. So we charge persons in line with written laws. So I hope that one is clear. That the onus to tell whether you are worth a charge or not, at the end of the day, does not lie in the police hands alone. So there are checks and balances as you are being taken through the justice ladder. So we assume that in our democratic dispensation, there is enough time for you to survive allegations, if those allegations don't hold and are being brought by police. Ndugu Tamale says that does police have a report on the arrests and lives lost during elections? I have not been given that information yet, but if it ever comes out, I will certainly share it. At the moment, I don't have this information, but I will be eager to share it as soon as it reaches my desk. Ndugu Tamale went ahead and asked about police occupying the home of former presidential candidate Chagulanyi. We are still having presence around the precincts of his home, like I shared earlier, and I have also shared before that we are doing it for security reasons, in the interest of the security of the country. The question as to what offense has he committed, if he commits a very particular offense, like I said earlier when I was talking about these issues, we would certainly either invite him to police or arrest him and take him to court. But at the moment, just know that they are very specific operational postures around his premises in the interest of national security. Tamare asked about whether there is a curfew. There is no curfew. There is no curfew. A curfew is a highly restrictive measure on movement of persons. We are not having curfews around. What we are having are spot checks in the interest of security and in line with the execution of our duties. Under the law, the police is allowed, the police has the powers to stop any person and check you. And out of that check, I would like to further bring to your attention that police can further make arrests arising from that check, can also do seizures and impoundment of items in the interest of an investigation or something that could have been identified arising out of that snap or stop check. We appeal to you to continuously remember the powers of the police. If an ordinary person was to put up a snap check, that would be a totally different matter. But if it is police, and Uganda police in particular, we have that power. We are not the only ones who have that power. Even other police institutions in other countries. So I guess that one is clear. Ndugu Shamimu raised an issue that at what point do you hand over a suspect without a statement? I would like to re-echo this, that when we arrest persons, we collect statements from all relevant witnesses, but also extract a statement from a suspect. But I have guided before that under our laws, should a suspect choose not to give a statement, you cannot extract it by force. And it is not the first time, as a general practice in our execution of our legal mandate, we have taken people before to court on the statement of those who accuse them. Because the rationale is that whatever the suspect says in terms of a statement is not entirely what we are basing on to charge him. It is simply in satisfying because we need his side of the story. But even if he does not give his side of the story, we can use the side which accuses him to press our charges. So I think that one is a bit clear on whether we can take a suspect to court with or without a statement. Holding charges. Yes, in our, although I don't want to become a legal gymnast here, but it is common, we can always have a holding charge and on a suspect, and further, these charges can be extended with the office of the DPP, but they can also be amended. Sometimes charges are amended when new pieces of evidence emerge, or when in a closer scrutiny of the facts brought before a prosecutor, he finds it in his or her wisdom to amend those charges. And sometimes to ensure that there is a quick dispensation of justice. So that one happens.
So is the incitement of violence part of the
holding charge?
Yes.
I do not know as where it has been used as a holding charge, but I am saying that should it happen that on day one you are charged with inciting violence, and on day two the prosecutor finds it necessary to amend them, he will always amend them. It is not a very usual practice. It is circumstantial. Yes. Ndugu Jingo, Ndugu Jingo raises the issue of, I think this was a report from our Directorate of Health Services. Yes, about the unclaimed bodies. And your concern is how we try as much as possible to have these bodies identified. Yes, we do. When we register a fatality at a crime scene, we convey the deceased or the remains of the person to the mortuaries in Uganda. We also engage communities. Now, there are, of course, unclaimed bodies for various reasons. Specifically, we have encountered unclaimed incidences of unclaimed persons. Let's say with the persons of mental disability. If I may use just a local description, you usually call them abalalu. So you find that there has been a person of mental disability living on the streets of Kampala for the last 20 years. Of course, the first assumption is that if that person had people, they would have collected him from the streets. But they are people of mental disability, whom you call abalalu, who have been on streets for 20 years. Now, when that person passes on, we convey the body to the city Mogu. Now, just like he has never been claimed in the last 20 years, he will still not be claimed after he has been delivered. So such a person most likely is going to end up being buried in a city mortuary. There are also suspected criminals. You find somebody coming, he causes mayhem on a certain village, and he's not known on that village. So, but where somebody at least is known on a village, we communicate. We have a very frequent engagement with the public through our community policing programs.
About 509. So if they are coming from different families, just imagine 509 families.
509 is the statistic and the national statistic, but I am specifically limiting my explanation to the circumstances. It could even be 1,000. So don't fear the numbers. You concentrate on the logic, the logical explanation issued. I am saying that if a person is a mentally disturbed person, he has been on the streets for 20 years. He passes on and we deliver him to the city mortuary. He will not be claimed by anybody, just like they never claimed him in the last 20 years. So it doesn't matter whether they become 400. I see your worry is about the numbers.
No, my worry, we are just going out of election. And so many.
If it is an election, are you? This report by the Directorate was not in respect to an election. It was in respect to an occurrence that in Uganda, we take bodies to mortuaries, and that when we take them, some are claimed, some are not claimed. It has nothing to do with the elections. Let me, then the other issues, you said His Excellency made some comments about police. Yeah, when a head of state gives an opinion or a statement, we pick lessons and we go and rectify where we find we didn't measure to his expectation. He's the commander-in-chief.
What are some of these that you have seen?
I don't have them at hand. Thank you. Ndugu Sulaiman, who is a terrorist? I would like to refer you to the laws of Uganda. The laws of Uganda, especially, I think the Anti-Terrorism Act, defines who a terrorist is and the ingredients of the offense of terrorism. If you want to relate it to the charges preferred against Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, I request you to reach out to the office of the DPP so that they explain the rationale under which they preferred that very particular charge, among the so many other charges they should have. But on behalf of Uganda Police Force, for us, we propose, based on the facts or the allegations we have at hand, if it so pleases, because your colleague raised this issue before, if the office of the DPP so pleases, it sustains the charge. 2, when they don't, they amend it. Now, beyond the DPP, should the charge stand in court, that means it has been subjected to all the litmus test. So, Ndugu Sulaiman, the issue of the charges, the office of the DPP okayed them and sustained them, and that's what is transpiring before courts of law. The issue of the taxi that was impounded, I think Ndugu Kawala gave information about it, but these details, I don't have them. Let's have them packed together, and I think my brother, the PRO of KMP, will come more clear on this. But for those who are watching or listening to us, there is a lady who complained of a certain taxi that was even photographed by its number plate and shared with us. There was a suspicion that the occupants were criminals. So in response, police swung. There could have been the assistance. There could have been the assistance of wananchi, but those are details. But what is on the record is that the taxi is in our hands and the investigations are going on. What is most important is the lady who made that allegation should come out and substantiate it. Come out, give your statement. If they are arrested persons, we shall need to identify them, and then appropriate action will be taken. The last question is similar to the previous ones I've answered about the arrests in the election by my sister. This information has not yet come to my table. The statistical details of the arrests. Then you talk about that more are still being done. If more are still being done, the most important thing is as long as you are being arrested for genuinely an offense you committed or you are suspected to have been committed. And no, when you get arrested, when you come into contact with the police, they tell you why they have arrested you. And if you are, once we arrest anybody from the community, and you are told that one of your persons was arrested, go to the nearest police, and then you will be told why we arrested you. So thank you. maybe just let me be brief in Luganda so that I give my colleagues an opportunity. Ndugu Okero, omukyala we bayita Ajoko, we mugamba nti yakwatibwa mu Syria, nti police oba ina kyekozeewo okulaba nti bamuta, aba Interpol. Sina netaga nja kugezaako okwogera ne Interpol bampe briefing ku nsonga eno, maybe bwe tunakuddira. David agamba emisango gya inciting violence olusi osanga nga tegigatta bulungi n'ebintu bye baba bakyuzinga abantu baba bakutte. Wano kyenjagala okumanyisa abantu nti bwe tukukwata nga poliisi tuba tuyina kye tukususpecting okuba ng'olina ky'okoze. Tuyinza okuba abatuufu oba oluusi tuyinza okuba abafu, naye kye tuba usually twagala, waliwo ebitongole ebirala nabyo ebiyingirawo ne bisengejja poliisi byebeeyogera. Bwe usually we basanga nga ffe bye tukutaddeko si bye bituufu, usually omusango ogwo tegugenda mu maaso. Era nga office ekola omulimu ogwo ye office ya DPP. So bw'olaba nga omusango gwe tukutaddeko aba DPP bamaze ne basanctioninga charge, kiba kitegeeza walimu egumba mu kye twogera nga poliisi. Then bwe nzira ku nsonga ya ndugu Tamale agamba muyina ripooti eyogera ku engeri gye mbadde mutambuzaamu okukwata kw'abantu n'abantu abamu abataalutonda mu elections zino. Ndugu Tamale mbadde sinaba kufuna information eno, naye nsaba nti bwe mba ngifunye ngisharinge namwe bannamawulire okubatangaza ku information eyo. Naye for now mujja kunsonyiwamu sinaba kufuna information eyo. Then ambuuziza ku ekifa wa maka ga Bobi Wine nti poliisi mukyaliyo eri mu makage. Tulina deployments around amakage kubanga tuyina interests nga security n'okulaba nti tewabaawo obumenyi bw'amateeka obubalukawo nga businziira okuva ewuwe. Curfew, ndugu Tamala abuuzizza nti waliyo curfew. Curfew tewaliwo curfew kubanga curfew ndoza at least bwenkinyonyola nga mu Luganda, curfew ye nga bwe mwalaba bwe twali mu lockdown ya COVID. Entambula eba restricted, wabaawo okusomozebwa kungi mu bantu ababa bagala okutambula okuva n'okudda eri, naye kye tuyina ye police checkpoints. Waliwo ezimu eziri ku highways, waliwo ezimu olusi abapoliisi baffe ze bakola mu lufuuti lwaffe tuziyita snap checks, nti oyinza okuba okyavuga ng'ogenda kyali wajala ogenda okusanga nga tusuddewo ndoza mutera kukiyita emisanvu oba ekiddo. Naye usually guidance gye tuwa abasirikale baffe nti bwe basuulawo checkpoint eyo banoonye ekintu kye baba beetaaga. Bwe bakusanga nga toyina buzibu bwonna n'amateeka bakute ogende, naye bakirizibwa n'okukwata bwe baba bakusanzeemu oba nga bakuteebereza obumenyi bw'amateeka. Naye bwe bakwata balina okutwala ne bakutereka mu kifo ekituufu ate ne bakuprocessinga mu budde obutali bungi. So tuba tu expecting nti balina okurespectinga human rights z'omuntu oyo bwe baba bayinconveniencinze. So ekyo kya curfew. Then ndugu Shamim abadde abuuza ku kya omuntu akwatibwa ddi n'atwalibwa mu kooti nga tebamugjeeko statement. Mu mateeka kikkirizibwa omusibe si kyateeka nti alina kuwa statement, kubanga omusibe bw'akeera ku makya n'agamba sijja ggiwa, tekitegeeza nti ojja mutereka mu kaddukulu ka poliisi lubeerera. Tusuubira nti bw'aba mumuleese mu kaddukulu ka poliisi waliwo omuntu abamuvunaana, ate abamuvunaana eba gavumenti, so gavumenti eba erina obujulizi bwayo oba erina kyenoonyereza. Ekirala erina abajulizi baayo betuyita witnesses. Ne bw'oba okubye omuntu ekikonde, oyo omuntu w'okubye aba mujulizi wa gavumenti. So bw'abanga yakulumiriza obujulizi bwatuwadde n'obujulizi bwe tujja ku musawo buba bumala okutwala mu kooti, because in any case ne bwe tukujjako statement ojja kwewakana. So the issue of batwetaaga statement yo oba nedda tugyetaaga, yalibadde tuyamba kubanga mu mateeka n'enkola ya democracy olina okuwuliriza sayidi y'oli, naye bw'aba tayagadde omuwulire then genda mu maaso. Then era Ndugushamimu waliwo akalala kaleese wano aka holding charge. Maybe kano katukakozese just kusomesa ku bantu nti holding charge ye ekyo suspicion eyo gye tukubaako nayo, maybe suspicion nkiyite ki, obuteebereza. Tuyinza okuteebereza nti wawambye omukyala, naye bwe tumala okutwala fayiro yo nga twagala okutuwa guidance okuva ewa DPP, ne DPP ayinza okusooka n'alooza nti actually the offense yabadde yakuwamba, naye bwe batuuka mu maaso eyo oluusi ne bagamba tetumuteekako yakuwamba, tumuteekeko ya aggravated oba defilement. So charges ze batera okuteeka ku musibe oluusi zituuka mu maaso awo ne zichenjinga okusinziira ku bujulizi obupya obuba buzuuse oba mu bumanyirivu bw'abakugu bwe basengeja information eyo, oluusi batuuka ekiseera ne bagamba charge entuufu yalibadde bweti. So bwe mba mulaba charges ezo olumu oluusi ne tukukwatira ku charge eno, naye bw'otuuka mu maaso eyo ebintu ne bikyukamu. Jingo alese information ekwata ku mirambo gye tutwala mu ggwanika, ate egimu ne gitakola ki, abantu bannanyini gyo ne batakola ki, ne batagiclaiminga. Mortuaries buli bwe tufuna incident erimu okufa, omuntu oyo tumukwata ne tumusitula ne tumutwala mu ggwanika mu ggwanga lyonna. Now bw'aba nga amanyiddwa ku kyalo nga babadde balwana n'afa, abantu mu ddakiika buddakiika baba batuuse dda ku ggwanika, kubanga already ne information eyita ku kyalo. Ate mujjukire nti tulina community policing engagements zaffe n'abantu ba bulijjo. Bw'aba bamukubye masasi, bamuse, all those usually ojja kusanga nti abantu batuusibwako okumanyisibwa, naye tulina abantu betuze nga poliisi nga tulaba nti usually abantu baabwe tebatera kutegeera kibaddewo. Okusinga cases zino tuziregisteringa mu bantu abayinamu obulwadde bw'emitwe bemutera okuyita abalalu. Waliwo obosanga omulwadde w'omutwe nga amaze ku street nga ku William amazeeko emyaka 20 alya mu kasasiro. Of course bw'amalira emyaka 2 ku kasasiro kiba kitegeeza ababe either tebamufaako oba tebamanyi nti najali oba nabo tebaliyo. So usually omuntu ng'oyo n'amala ava mu bulamu bw'ensi eno, bwe tutwala omubiri gwe mu ggwanika, engeri gye babadde tebamukima era ne still tebajja mukima, kubanga ku street abaddeko nga teri amukima. Then waliwo kategori endala ey'abamenyi b'amateeka bano be batera okuttira mu mob justice. Azze okubba ku kyalo ssaawa 9 ogw'ekiro, abantu ne bamuttirako. Mu poliisi tutera okubuuza ono omuntu waliwo amumanyi? Nothing. Boddeyo bwe bagitereka mu mochare bwetandika okwenonekamu, of course aba city council bo bajja kutwala bakuziike, naye era ndoza mu luzungu sikyogedde naye wano kankyogere. Kyemanyi nti obudde bwonna abantu bwe balabikira wabeerawo sisitimu ebeera mu ggwanika gye baba baleseewo nti bw'ojja bakutracinga ne bakuziikuula oba kye tuyita exhumation. So abantu abo bakola ki? Bamala ne bafunibwa bwebanga ogenze n'obaclaiminga mu ggwanika. Ekisembayo ayogedde ku kya waliwo issues president ze yawanga aguidinga police oba nga mentioninga ku police ku about elections. Kyembadde njagala okugamba nti commander in chief bwawa empabula yonna eri ffe aba security, we take it era ne tulana engeri gye tugiteeka mu nkola. Naye obadde oyagala kumbuuza nti nkuyamba okutegeera ensobi zaffe, nze nga nze Lusoke siziina wano, naye at strategic level issues zino buli bwe zijja nawe weka bw'otuwa guidance tugiteeka mu nkola. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Bwe tuba nga tulina kye tumulanga tujja kibategeeza, either tumuyite oba tumukwate. Kale mwebale nnyo. Okay, my colleague. Thank you.
Please, my medal. Thank you. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from the National Identification and Registration Authority. This morning, I come to give you a brief about this national scale exercise that took effect at parish level on the 27th of May, 2025, initially commenced for a period of 6 months that closed on 8th November 2025, but has since ended again on 8th February after an extension of 3 months was granted. So technically speaking, ladies and gentlemen, the enrollment of persons and access of service from NIRA at parish level closed yesterday on 8th February 2026. This project, ladies and gentlemen, had a couple of objectives, which among others included the following. We adopted a new system, and so we had a tall order before us to ensure that all information that was domiciled in the old system had crossed over into the new system. So migration had to be done of all records to be able to take on the new system. We also had the duty to enroll 17,200,000 Ugandans. We also had a task to renew expired national IDs, but to also renew with change for people who had offered by their own will or otherwise to have changes on their national IDs, but also grant national IDs to children that initially had NIN numbers and now qualified for cards. The targeted number therein was 15,800,000. Subsequently, also for all persons that were 16 and above, we had the responsibility to print and issue them a physical card. This morning, it pleases me to give you progress on how well we have done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully migrated all data from the old system into the new, and I wish to inform you this morning that 28 million records, 571,893 are now migrated into the new system. So every record that we did have in the old system is now present in the new system. So 100% achievement level to the extent of migration. In regard to renewals, changes for particulars, and offering first IDs for people that had a NIN, we were looking at 15.8, and we have achieved 14,311,877, a performance of 90.5%. We were also supposed to enroll 17.2 million Ugandans. Majority of these were children, minors, who do not access service of their own accord. So the ability to access service was totally dependent on an adult, a caretaker, a benefactor, or a parent. And as we have always engaged that there was a bit of sluggishness in this area, it is painful to report that we have only managed 37.3% to this end. In terms of printery is a function of people that qualify for a card. Printery is a function of the idea that someone needs to qualify for a card to get it. So not everyone who is enrolled qualifies for a card. And therefore the target for our printery is a function of processed data that now is ready to culminate into a card. By the close of business yesterday, we had achieved 10,152,559, which is commendable to the extent that we had 14 million on the people that were card related. Of these cards, ladies and gentlemen, we have shipped and therefore dispatched to the different 146 districts of this country 7,261,435 cards as of yesterday close of business. Now, cards issued also as well by yesterday close of business were 2,581,457. That is now 35% of the 7.2 million cards. Out of the cards dispatched, 7,261,435, as of close of business yesterday, we had issued 2,581,457 cards, which puts us at 35% issuance of the cards that are already in the field. That implies that we have got over 5 million cards that are due for collection across the country. This morning, ladies and gentlemen and fellow countrymen, I want to make particular acknowledgements. The data migration was fully completed, and I think that is a progress milestone that is worth commenting. But also, in this period of 8 months, we have captured biometric data and verified records of over 20 million Ugandans in this period. We have also done massively renewal and update of cards, a 90% achievement rate for people who already were NIN'd and were now seeking to obtain a card is commendable. It is possible that the 10% could relate to people that have moved on to eternity and have left this world and maybe are deceased. It is also possible that human beings are not rigid, they are mobile and could have moved to other areas, which could inform their inability to access service. But also, we recognize that there is a lacuna in the area of new registration, particularly children. it has been our duty to engage with you, the Fourth Estate, from time and again, reminding the citizens on why it is important to register babies from the time of birth. We are committed as an entity, and the management of NIRA will seek to rigorously determine the next steps of how we can make it possible to reach the child-dense areas and spaces to ensure that every child in this country makes their way onto the national register. Suffice to say, with the migrated data from the old system and the new people registered, the national register has over 35 million Ugandans that can be uniquely identified by a biometric. Continuity then, ladies and gentlemen of service. Now that we have exited the parish, what's the plan? Where are we headed? How are we going to manage as a country? I wish to reiterate that NIRA has got presence in all the districts of this country where we were operating from before we came to the parish. And therefore, all services of NIRA have been mainstreamed back to those district services that are funded under the usual and operational government structure. So if you want to access a NIRA service, you will have to visit your district office. We have a special arrangement for the district of Kampala and the district of Wakiso. In Kampala, we have officers in the different divisions, and I want to offer clarity. Kampala as a district, the message is often coded with 12, which is simply a code number that defines the district. So 12 is not rocket science. 12 is the number that we have given Kampala. So Kampala as a district 12 has got divisions. And I want to help you. If you have received feedback about your card and it relates to Kampala 38, ladies and gentlemen, that is Rubaga. Kampala 12038 is Rubaga. You will access service on Rubaga Road, located as you head to the Catholic Cathedral. Kampala 12034 is Kampala Central Division, located on Lumumba Avenue, above the Ministry of Public Service. Kampala 12036 is Machindye, located in Lukuli. Kampala 12035 is Kawempe Division Office, located directly opposite Reham Factory in Kawempe. Now, applicants are advised to confirm from their message to read and say if it's Dear Nachtio Joy, your national ID has reached Kampala Office 12036. Read that code so that you'll know the division to go to. In Wakiso, we have mainstreamed and we are issuing cards at only 3 points. Naluvule Station, which is our office opposite Oil Libya, as you slope down, they will be serving Nansana Division, Nabweru, Wakiso Sub-County and Town Council, Chengera Town Council, Kachiri, Namayumba, Masulita, and Mende. Those different sub-counties will have to make their way to the Naluvule NIRA office opposite Oil Libya. Kasangati NIRA office, which is located in Masoli, will serve and issue cards for people who registered in Kasangati, Gombe Division, and Busukuma. And finally, Namugongo Matters Shrine will serve the people of Chira Division, Bweyogerere, and Namugongo. The special arrangement for Kampala and Wakiso is informed by the number of cards that are available, and we are still committed to making this process, even though tedious, but smooth. I then also give an update on issuance for diaspora, which has taken off. Ladies and gentlemen, effective today 9th February, all the way to 11th, at the Hyatt Regency Dubai Creek Heights Hotel, the consulate is issuing national IDs for people registered. It is important to communicate to the UAE because 5,200 cards were shipped to that country. And it became very important for us to find a mechanism that allows the embassy to manage such a big traffic of people while also ensuring that they get cards. So if you're in UAE, do make your way to Hyatt Regency Dubai Hotel in these 3 days and pick up the cards. If you're not able to pick up the card, be comforted. The embassy in Abu Dhabi offers Monday and Thursdays on appointment basis as days you can pick up your card if you do not make it to Dubai in these 3 days of mass issuance. There is a list on their website, abudhabi.mofa.go.ug, where you can check your application number and head there when you're very sure that your card is available for collection. Jeddah, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, will begin to issue on 17th to 21st at the consulate there between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So UAE and Saudi Arabia, this is the moment for your card collection. As I conclude, what is the plan to reach those not reached? I already explained that we will have a mechanism for children's collection. We recognize that you would very much want us to give you the service where you accessed it from, but a project has got constraints. And a government pass has got a limit and resources within which it works. But nonetheless, regardless of the discomfort, we are committed to making sure that you know and you have clarity of where to get feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only the end of the first major milestone of this project. The organization is working to complete the other follow-on milestones in terms of completing the feedback cycle of giving you your card, but also moving on to the important bits, which is making verification and access of your information possible by giving you the platform through which you can do that, and the final lap of intermarriage of civil registration and vital registration onto the new system, and then we can call it a wrap. For now, I congratulate you, fellow countrymen. This far we have come, and it's only the beginning. A journey of 10,000 miles begins with one step, and I believe that together we will continue to work to make the identity of this country a success. I thank you. I will make a quick run in Luganda. Abatulaba enkya ya leero mbatuusaako okulamusa okuva mu kitongole kya National Identification and Registration Authority. Twatandika omulimu guno ogw'okuwandiisa bannayuganda ku miruka nga 27 ogwokutaano 2025. Ng'omulimu guno gwasooka okuba nga gwateekateekebwa okumala emyezi 6 weewaawo olw'okusaba n'ennamungi w'abantu abettanira obuweereza buno, gavumenti n'esima neeyongezayo obuweereza buno nga bwakomye jjo ennaku z'omwezi 8 2026 ku levo ey'omuluka. Kakati okukomekereza obuweereza buno ku muluka tebutegeeza nti endagamuntu awonno tetukyazigaba oba okuwandiisa abantu kwaweddewo, wabula kitegeeza nti obuweereza buno ku muluka buvuddeyo. Kakati ojja kwetaaga okugenda mu ofiisi za NIRA ez'enjawulo 146 ezitolodde eggwanga lyonna obuweereza ate obusangeeyo. Bwe twali tutandika omulimu guno ogw'okuwandiisa abantu okw'ekikungu, twagenderera okulaba nga ebikwata ku bantu byonna ebyali mu sisitimu enkadde nga bizzibwa mu sisitimu empya gye twatandise okukozesa, era nga njagala okwebaza abantu ba NIRA namwe bannayuganda okubayozaayoza nti omulimu guno ogw'okutambuza ebyo ebikwata ku bantu obukadde 28 emitwalo 57 1,893 ebintu byabwe byaziddwa mu sisitimu empya. Awo nno ogwo omulimu twagukoze 100 ku kinnaawo. Kakati ensonga ey'abo baali bafuna zinniini nga walinako nniini nga wali oyagala kuzza bujja, oba oliawo wayagala kuzza bujja ng'obaako ne byokyusa ebiri ku ndagamuntu, twagendera okukola ku bantu obukadde 15 n'emitwalo 8. Wenjogerera enkya ya leero tubadde tutuusiza obukadde 14 n'emitwalo egisoba mu 3 nga ebyo bitundu 9 kwabo betwagendera okukola. Nze ndowooza awo tukoze bulungi kuba ku bantu bano mulimu abaatuva ku maaso nga tebakyali mu bulamu bw'ensi oba nga baatambulamu nga mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda sibakyalimu. Kale nze ndowooza abo baali baawulira enjiri batukoze bulungi obutagambika, ate ne bajja ne bazza obujja endagamuntu zaabwe. Obuzibu bubadde kwabo abateewandisangako, twagendera obukadde 17 naye nga tugenze okumaliriza ejjo obudde obwawungeredde nga tuli mu mitwalo 6 n'ekitundu ekiraga ebitundu 37. Awo nno wenteera wessira nti abantu bano abasinga be baana abato abawere abatasobola kwetuukirira ku ofiisi ya NIRA kusaba buweereza. Omuntu omukulu alina okuyimirirawo ku lwabwe n'abanjula eri gavumenti, awo nno ne tubawandiika. Naye abantu baffe abamweso gwa nagamba bwe bofuneeyo omwana omutoto faayo okugamba nti nze n'ab'ennyumba yange tuneewandiisanga. Tusuubira nti tujja kukola n'amaanyi okukwatagana n'amasomero, oba oliawo ttambwe eyokusatu bw'eba yalimu ebibuuzo ne batukugira awamu okutuukirira amasomero gano, tetujja kukola. Tujja kukola butaweera okuddayo ate tulabike ng'abaana b'eggwanga bonna tubawandiika ng'eggwanga lino tulisensera. Okufulumya endagamuntu ekyuma kyaffe kyakafulumya endagamuntu obukadde 10 n'emitwalo 10. Ate nze ndowooza naawe tukoze bulungi kuba ku bantu bali 14 miliyoni 14 ezina okufuna endagamuntu bwe tuba tulumiza 10, nze ndowooza tukoze bulungi. Kwezo obukadde 10 obukadde 7 bwatuuse dda mu disitulikiti ez'enjawulo obukadde 7, naye nga we bwawungeredde ku obwo obukadde 7 bwe twakatwala abantu bakanonako obukadde 2 n'emitwalo 5, obukadde 2 n'ekitundu. Kale wakyaliwo omulimu munene nnyo kuba endagamuntu obukadde nga 5 tukyazirina era mu disitulikiti zaffe ez'enjawulo gye ziri. Kaakati twagala okwebaza abantu bonna abazze okwewandiisa kuba nze ndowooza si kya bulijjo mu bitongole bya gavumenti okusangayo ekitongole ekigamba nti twakola ku bantu obukadde 2 nga buli omu twamuggyako ebinkumu twayogera naye twamukolako ate twamusinkana. Nze ndowooza mu myezi 6 okuba nga tutuukirira abantu emitwalo 2 miliyoni 2 ne tubawandiisa ne tubaggyako ebintu byabwe ebibakwatako ebibanjula, tukoze bulungi. Okusobola okutambuza sisitimu ne tujja ebintu ebyo mu sisitimu enkadde ne tubituusa mu mpya, nakyo ndowooza kikulu nnyo era mbayozaayoza ate tuwozayoza ne bannaffe be tubadde tukola nabo. Kaakati bwe twogerera boddira bali abapya be twawandiika n'abo abaali ku regisita y'eggwanga kati eriko obukadde 35 bweddu. Gavumenti besobola okwawula ku bannaabwe ng'ekoze biometrics oba ebintu ebyo ebyenjawulo bye batagatta na bantu balala. Nze ndowooza ng'eggwanga tulina okweyozaayoza okutuuka ku kino. Kitegeeza omulembe guli ogw'okwefuula kyotali, awo nno olwolugi tugenda tuluggalawo ate eggwanga lyattu Uganda lyongera okutunyumira ate n'obuweereza bwongera okutereera. Awo nno nga tuvudde ku miruka ekiddako kyekiriwa. Obuweereza bwonna obwa NIRA ku muluka tebukyaliyo, ojja kubugoberera eri ku ofiisi ya NIRA etwala disitulikiti yo. Ab'e Kampala wabula ne Wakiso olw'obungi bw'abantu abasabirayo obuweereza njagala kubayamba bwe nti eyeewandikisiza mu Kampala Central nga message bw'ogifuna ekulambika okunona endagamuntu ejja kuba esoma Kampala 12 Kampala 12 ne kakoodi akaliko 38 ng'ojja kgenda Lubaga. Message esoma Kampala 12:38 ogenda Lubaga eri ng'ogenda ku Lutikko ku Lubaga Road. Ate message e Kampala bw'eba esoma Kampala 12:34 ogenda ku Kampala Central ku Lumumba Avenue. Kampala 12:36 ogenda Makindye mu Lukuli. Ate Kampala 12:35 ogenda Kawempe wali opposite ne Rihamu. Kakati kakasanga message ye kugamba okunona endagamuntu ogyetegereza enamba ezo manyi kyezitegeeza ate osobola okwewala okutambula n'okufiirizibwa obudde bwo olw'okuba ogenze Makindye ate nga wali badde ogenda Lubaga. Ab'e Wakiso tusigaze ebifo 3 we mujja okunonera endagamuntu. Naluvule wali opposite ne Oil Libya ojja kuweereza ab'e Nansana, ab'e Nabweru, ab'e Wakiso, ab'e Kyengera, ab'e Kachiri, ab'e Namayumba, Masulita ne Mende muzinone Naluvule. Ab'e Kasangati tulinayo ofiisi eri Masoli tujja kuweereza abo abeewandikisize Kasangati, Egombe ne Busukuma. Ate abantu b'e Namugongo tubateerereyo nammwe obuweereza. Abantu b'Ekira obweyogererere Namugongo mugende eri ku Matters Shrine Namugongo ku Kereziya y'Abakatuliki. Okuweereza ate n'okugaba endagamuntu emitala w'amayanja nakwo kugenda maaso bulungi nnyo. Ab'e UAE leero okugaba endagamuntu kw'ekikungu kutandise eri ku hoteli ya Hyatt Regency e Dubai. Lwaki tutaddewo ennaku zino nga za hoteri? Abantu ba UAE balina endagamuntu esoba mu 15,000. Awo nno ofiisi za embassy zonga zo obuzito bwa namungi w'abantu bano tebwalisobose. Kale tubadde tugamba nti ennaku zino essatu esereddwayo eri ku hotero kusoboza kubawa ekifo ekinene eky'omweganya muno n'endagamuntu. Wabula ennaku essatu zino bwe zikulema ogenda eri ku Regency Hotel, ojja genda Abu Dhabi ku embassy ku lw'ebbalaza n'olwokuna. Kakasa nti okuba essimu n'ofuna appointment. Zino ennaku essatu teziriko appointment, kasitoba ne message yingirawo buyingizi otwala endagamuntu yo. Ate ab'e Jeddah mu Kingdom of Saudi Arabia okugaba endagamuntu ku consulate kutandika nga 17 kukome nga 21 okuva essaawa 3 ez'okumakya okutuuka 12 ez'akawungezi. Awo nno bannayuganda bannange nga nkomereza njagala kwogera bwe nti okugaba kuno tekutegeeza nti newankubadde tuvuddeyo ku projekiti ku parish kukomye. Obuweereza bukyagenda mu maaso. Projekiti eno ekyetaaga okukola ebintu bingi okakasa nti mwenna mufuna endagamuntu. Ekyokubiri okubateerawo platform basobozesa okukebera endagamuntu zammwe. Tuli mu kukizimba ate n'okugattika okulaba nti ebyobuzaale tubigatta wamu n'endagamuntu. Awo nno sisitimu ne projekiti ebe ng'eweddeyo. Mbeyanziza nnyo. Olwaleero nja kutwala ebibuuzo 2-3 bwe biba gyebiri ate tukomekereze. Yes.
I would like to hear from NIRA about the activation of the national IDs as issued, the new ones. Many individuals have complaints on the IDs, QR codes not being activated, not being able to be read in the banks when they go to renew SIM cards or anything. They're facing challenges with it. So we want to hear from you. Is there a challenge with the system? Is it a challenge with the QR codes that were printed with there? What exactly is the issue and how are you dealing with it? Are you aware that it's even happening?
Thank you. Yes, please.
We are having members of the public who are complaining get their cards from the parishes, and they take it like an uphill task to go and pick their cards because there is a certain way of the people in the field creating some difficulties in getting issuing the cards. So I don't know whether you've already got such complaints.
Okay. Yes, Catholic TV.
On the collection access, why do you have to put codes instead of putting the back and matching it?
Okay. Yes, please.
There are individuals who applied for renewal but have never received any update or collection date. What advice for the last 3 months? What advice do you have for these people? What steps should they take? And does the lack of communication mean their applications were rejected?
Okay. Can I take those? Is that it? Okay. Thank you very much for those questions. She did raise a question on activation of new cards. Ladies and gentlemen, this system development progress and as well as the project was a journey of 10,000 miles. It had 12 stops. Our first stop when we started the project was to make it possible for you to register. The second stop was to make it possible for you to renew. On the 21st of July, we made another path that made it possible for you to change particulars, to apply for a first ID if you in the old system you were a child and now you qualify for a new card. And we've been making many until August when we made it possible to print and therefore be able to issue for you the card. As we speak now, our 8th stop point, which we are supposed to open, is the ability for you to electronically be able to verify the card. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the National Identification and Registration Authority first went live in 2014 and registered you. Several years later, it opened a platform that made it possible for all people that depended on the ID to use an electronic window to verify your card. which is a third-party interface through an API. Now, as we are building the new system, that particular window is not open. It is going to be open on 31st of March 2026. However, all the 103 stakeholders that depend on a national ID to identify you have been written to and guided on how to approach verification with the new card now. I put it to you, if there is such a service provider who is not guided on a verification mechanism, bring it to our attention. As far as I know, there is a verification mechanism we have given them as we wait for the system to go live so that you can enjoy a fair copy of what you had tested in the old system. Because the building we are doing for the new system will be a more crisp one than even the one we gave you before, because we gave you the first door. So you cannot tell us we served you chicken last year and we are going to serve you beans in the new system. Can it occur? It cannot. We served you that verification portal. We will be the very ones to serve it to you. So you take peace and know that a journey of 10,000 miles begins with one step. We have moved 8. Kachali Mabaga, the 4 steps we are going to move. If you want a date, 31st March. For now, the 103, be it a bank, be it a telecom, be it permit, they are reaching us, we are helping them and verifying, and they are offering service. So I don't think there is a cause for alarm there. There is service delivery happening. At least it has not stopped, as far as I know. In terms of card collection at local level, it is true, human beings are born from different stomachs, from different homes. We train people not to be corrupt. And people have taken an oath against corruption. But still people will use discretion and power to charge. Because of the long queues where there are 300 people, either it could be induced by officer or the citizen. The citizen will say, Kankoye chinyanya, because they don't want to queue up. We are not people of decorum. And so corruption, you the initiator and the receiver, you both commit a crime. What is my plea? Do not keep quiet. You raise the alarm. When we come to your inbox and ask you, can you share details of who asked for the bribe and the number, you disappear, not to come back. So now, how shall we fight it? That said service is free. On this very forum, I've said severally that you're not supposed to access service with money. If someone is charging you, please report and walk with us the journey of prosecution to the end. If you jump out on us midway, we cannot do much. Because he who alleges must prove. And how are we going to prove in court that there is corruption if you're not helping us to prove it? But that said, we are now back at our offices with full CCTV cameras. We are committed to offering the best service. The lines are going to be there. That one I want to promise you up front. There is no lie about it. But I implore us to be people of decorum. When you come and find 300 people, please accept to follow the queue and wait for your turn to be served. Because that's why we are paid. As day follows night, we will work tirelessly to make sure we issue all the cards that we have. Codes, why are we putting codes? Honestly, I want to take that as feedback. Thank you very much, my brother from Catholic Television. We'll take that as feedback because codes are not your business as a citizen. The crisp way should be, dear Claire, your card is available for pickup in Rubaga. But the Baganda have said, rather than remain in the darkness, I am going to help you with information by demystifying those codes for Kampala so that in the now, you're able to know where to go so you don't get lost. If you had been lost to this extent, now you come back and move to the right direction. Yes, I did talk about it. I did. Okay, but let me just get it for you again. I'm going to get that for you. And then in terms of applied but no collection message, yes, it is true that some people did not get messages, but we are resending these messages at every time T. We run the messages and send them. Either some people have got settings in their phone that block messages or something. That is also a possibility. The best we can do is to keep resending. Those messages, and we have proof of messages sent, because IT does not lie. When you bulk send messages, it will say delivered, 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 and it will also say failed, which is a technological issue. You have sent a message, I'm sure, to someone, and I'm sure that sometimes they'll say, did not get it. You've transacted before, and the notification did not come, but we will be tirelessly doing that to make sure we deliver. Do you want me to take those questions in Luganda?
Yes.
Oh.
Is there any way Uganda can check in the system and see whether they renew or
I just made that clear, Ma'am Serena, that we are building the system for you to verify. That verification system is what feeds into the portal for you to self-check. It's what other people use to scan using a QR code, and you see it's development. For now, we have got our WhatsApp number, which is widely publicized. We've got our toll-free number 0800-211-700. We have got an email, and yes, it's true that the speed may not be as crisp as your iPhone might be, but I want to assure you that it is working, and the team is tirelessly doing that. The permanent easy way is for the system to go live 30th March 2026, rest assured. Ekisembayo wali abuuziza nti endagamuntu bannange tezikola, nsoose kumuddamu nti endagamuntu tezikola, obuweereza tebutuuka, neewuunya nnyo, neewuunyiza nnyo kubanga endagamuntu zino bwe tuzifulumya omulimu gwazo gwa kubanjula ate oba oliawo mufune obuweereza. Twatandika olugendo luno olw'okuwandiisa abantu nga lwali mu stage 12. Stage yasookerako ddala yeri gye twatandikirako nga 27 Ogwokutaano ey'okusobola okuba nga tukuwandiika ng'ozza bujja nga 21 Ogwomusanvu omwaka oguwedde ne tutambula ate ne tugamba kati jangu ate okyuse ebiri ku ndagamuntu bw'oba mwana muto ofuna endagamuntu esooka. Mu Gwomunaana awo ne tutandika okuba endagamuntu ne tutandika n'okuzigaba. Kaakati stage ey'omunaana gye tugendako yeyo stage ebasobozesa okuba ng'ogenda akuwa obuweereza n'assaako obusa endagamuntu ate n'asoma ebigiriko. Bannayuganda bannange, sisitimu eno eya NIRA twagiinawo okwo. Ndowooza bwe mugamba nti endagamuntu enkadde zo zikola bulungi, zaakola kuba twazisobozesa okukola. NIRA kennyini ye yabawa eyo platform yabasobozesa okusoma n'olaba. Era NIRA kennyini tesobola kutambula bigere 10 maaso ate netambula ebigere 3 emabega. Sikisoboka. Wabula tuli mu nteekateeka erabika nti system eyo tugizimba ebasobozesa okukebera ku mutimbagano mulabe ebikwata ku ndagamuntu zammwe. System eyo ejja kubaako nga 3 Ogwokusatu 2026. Naye kaakati we twogerera abantu bonna abakozesa endagamuntu okubawa obuweereza nga bali 103 twabawandikira ne tubawa engeri butya bwe basobola okukozesa endagamuntu ez'empya babawa obuweereza. Era wano wensimbira wakati nga nti bwebaayo omuntu ng'akozesa abantu abo 103 nga bw'atuukayo olwali bamugamba tekisoboka ajja atutegeeze. Naye nze okusinziira ku kyemmanyi twogerezeganya nabo ab'ebitongole byonna ebikozesa endagamuntu era balina engeri gye bajja otutuukirira ffe tubakakase ate oba oli obuweereza babukuweereze. Kale abo aboogera ebigambo ebitakwatagana nti ate tezikola ate enfu ate gavumenti ekuwa endagamuntu ate ekuwa ekipuli ate ekuwa ekitakola ate akuwa ekifu. Nze ndowooza abantu abo beetaaga kunoonyerezaako nakwetegereza bafande bano bajja batuyambako. Ensonga y'okubiri Judy gye yayogeddeko ye bantu ku level ya parish abagamba nti babatawaanya okunona endagamuntu kyojja mu biro oba oli abagamba teriimu kwegamba ne bateekawo embeera osobole okukwata mu nsawo ogende kasawo ate balyoke bakuwa obuweereza. Bannaye mbakubira omulanga nti obuweereza bwa NIRA bwabeerere era bwebaayo omuntu ng'akuyisa mu mbeera ezo weekubira enduulu. Enamba ya toll free tugina, WhatsApp yaffe eri active ne ku Twitter. Tutuukirire ate osobole otuwulira naye ate bw'oloopa kkiriza okutambula naffe paka omuntu ono lwe tumutuusa mu mbuga z'amateeka. Abamu bw'owulira nti ate bamutuusiza ku poliisi nti sirina ganjogerera bubi n'obivaako. Bw'otalumiriza naffe eno tetusobola kubonereza kuba obukakafu n'obujulizi ate gwa bulina. Naye kaakati we twogerera mugenda tugoberera ofiisi za NIRA weewaawo abantu bajja kuba bangi togaba nguzi totemera muntu wabula beera wampisa osimba ennyiriri ate naawe olinda akaseera ko we katuuka ofune obuweereza. Eri omunaffe owa Catholic TV eyemulugunyiza nti enamba ezo tazaagala mu message bannange twetonda ne sekwetonda naye ndowooza mbawabudde enamba ezo kyegitegeeza tugenda kukola butaweera ndowooza okulanga tutereeza. Naye abagenda mu district ezeewala nga Buyikwe Eggulu tetulina koodi. Koodi ezo za Kampala kuba Kampala ina abantu bangi ate endagamuntu zidda mu magombolola so twali twetaaga okwawula Nakawa ku district endala. So bwe tugamba Kampala 12 nga twagala twawule district ez'enjawulo ezo ate muzimanyi. Naye ndowooza olwaleero mbalambise bulungi mutegedde ennamba eriwa etegeezaawa. Abatafunangako message bana message tuziweereza era bw'otuwa ennamba system eweereza lumu n'ekubulira endagamuntu gy'eri bw'eba yatafuna ndowooza mukebere ku simu zammwe abamu message ndowooza mwazi blockinga manye eri abantu nga message tubwogimuleza tetuuka naye tujja kukola butaweera okwongera okuweereza message ezo ate tulabike nga mwenna mufuna endagamuntu mbeeyanziza nnyo mbeeyanzeeke tanaba kufuna
Good afternoon, everyone. We are here to update you on basically on the safety of our children or learners as schools across the country reopen this week for first term 2026. We thus urge the general public to exercise extra caution on all roads to ensure the safety of our children and other road users. This period is typically marked by increased traffic on the roads, especially around the schools, highways, built-up places or trading centers and residential areas. It is not only about the increased traffic, but also a number of traffic violations on the roads. It is the period where we see people drive on roads without licenses. We see vehicles loading excess passengers. We see dangerous loading of luggage or luggage that belong to the learners. Some even put it in a way that it covers the registration plates of the vehicles, which is an offense, and so many other traffic violations. And the increased movement of these learners, many of whom are young and vulnerable, raises the risk of road crashes if due care is not taken. We all know that road safety is not only an individual responsibility, but it is also a collective responsibility. All road users are therefore called upon to play their part in safeguarding lives during this period. In other words, before we think of what the traffic police or police is going to do in this period, what is it that you as a road user, you as a school administration, you as a parent, a guardian or caretaker, that you are supposed to do on the road to ensure that our children are safe? Motorists are reminded to reduce speed, especially near schools, pedestrian crossings, and other busy areas. Obey traffic signs, road markings, and instructions from traffic officers. Most of you are stops, or some of you are stops on the roads just for a normal check, and then you refuse to stop. Either you do not have licenses with you, or you are committing other offenses on the road and you refuse to stop, which is not good at all. Avoid reckless driving, dangerous overtaking. We all know that dangerous overtaking or careless overtaking is one of the most or the major causes of road crashes on our roads. Distracted driving, and also driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. All this must be avoided in such a period where we are delivering our children to school. Be extra vigilant during early morning hours and evening, especially when these learners are commuting. To our parents, guardians, and caretakers, you are also encouraged to teach or speak to these children on the basic road safety rules. It is also important to accompany young children to and from school if it is possible, especially the little ones, those young ones. Ensure pupils or our children and cyclists who transport them are using crash helmets. We have child helmets on the market. Please get them and make sure that your children use these crash helmets as they commute to schools and from. Use safe and reliable and authorized our children are safe. As children and learners, you are also reminded to use pedestrian crossings where they are available and also avoid distractions on the roads. Some of these children have the habit of walking along the roads as they are playing, which exposes them to dangers of being involved in crashes. Use designated taxi and border stages. Note that every vehicle that comes to you or motorcycle takes you. Ensure that the vehicle that is taking you is appropriate or is the one that is supposed to carry passengers, not any vehicle. Some vehicles have tints in them. Some vehicles have bad intentions that we may not know. So it is up to you as a student, as a parent, to be mindful and know which vehicle are you using. Some of them are even kidnappers for security reasons. So let's be careful and know. Some will even want to come and give you lifts just to carry you. Please, you have to be careful on who you use to move you from one point to another. It is also important to take note of the registration vehicle plate or motorcycle plate before you board them. Have it, keep it somewhere, or communicate it to your people back home, so that in case of anything, they have where to start from in as far as looking for you is concerned. Cross roads carefully by checking right, left, and right again before you cross the roads. And when you are crossing, please avoid running. To the school administrators, you are also urged to ensure to educate learners on road safety. Collaborate with local authorities like the police around you to make sure that you can call on them to come and teach or speak to these children. But also, if you're not sure of the drivers you're going to employ that are going to drive your vans, please approach the IOV or IOVs at police. They will come at no cost and interview these people, even checking your vehicles to ensure that they are roadworthy before you use them. We have gadgets like breathalyzers. If you are not sure of whether your driver is intoxicated or not, please walk to the police. They will test that driver and give you the results at no cost before you employ them, because some of them, we have got them driving these children when they are drunk. It is also important to monitor the student or the learner drop-off and pick-up areas. Some other schools abandon these places where children are dropped in the morning and picked in the evening. These are places that, first of all, must be gazetted and they are well known by the schools and the parents. And we also deploy on such a points these people with flags. You have seen them. They raise flags and make sure they are visible. They put on reflective jackets and they have these flags. I see most of them are red because those are colors that can easily be identified from a distance. They raise them for other motorists to stop, for these children to cross with ease. Because where we have gone for sensitizations, most of the school administrators have complained against especially the border riders who are reckless around these schools. That is very dangerous. These are places where they are children who are vulnerable, and we must really be careful when we are driving or riding around such places. As school administrators also, please avoid using unauthorized vehicles for student transportation. These vehicles must be clearly marked with the names of the schools clearly, so that, because some of these vehicles are used to transport these other passengers during the day, then in the morning they are put on the roads to carry, which is illegal and not acceptable. So please make sure if that school van is for the students, let it be clearly marked and it is well known for doing that at your school. We also avoid, especially those own vans, avoid loading these learners in excess. You find most of these vehicles, we all know that pupils below the age of 12, we count 2 of them to make 1 passenger. So for a vehicle that is allowed to carry 14, it carrying 28 children, that is not an offense. But then we find most of them putting more than even 28. They have 30, they have 40. So please, let's not wait for traffic to enforce on this. But you, as the administrators of these schools, you must make sure that this is not done. And that is why you see, in most cases when we come across such a cases, when maybe you have registered crashes, we rush to even charge the administrators of these schools, as much as we are not drivers, because we all know that these children cannot make decisions for themselves. There is someone thinking for them, and that is you. And some of them, we have taken them on cases of rash and neglect. So please, you have to be careful and know that you are responsible should anything happen to these children as they commute. And on the other general safety tips, of course, as parents, you are also moving. Jam is already around the town because of many people moving to different schools. Let's avoid unsafe overtaking. Let's observe speed limits at all times. Let us put on our seat belts at all times and stay vigilant and report reckless driving. Motorists are also advised to be patient and considerate, noting that children may not accurately judge vehicle speed and distance. As traffic police, of course, we are out on the roads everywhere, enforcing and checking on the compliance of all these other possible violations that I have talked about. So please don't expect us to get you without a license just because you are carrying children, taking them to school, and you think we are going to forgive you. We will not. Just the law will take its course. So you have to be careful. If you have no permit, get someone with a permit to drive you. If you are not feeling well as a man, these things of saying, I'm not feeling well as a man, so I've given my wife to drive. No license. Those things will not be acceptable on the roads, all in the name of ensuring the safety of our children. The Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety wishes all students or learners a happy first term. And the public can also report traffic violations and other complaints through our toll-free number 0800 199099. You can also continue using the social media platforms where we go and pick some of those complaints with evidence and charge the violators and look for them. Thank you so much for listening, and you'll allow me to right away continue to the crash that was registered yesterday, unless people don't want it. I just remain on schools. If you want it, then I give it to you. You want it? Some want it, some don't want it. Can I give it to you? Okay. 8 people died and 4 others sustained injuries following a fatal road crash involving motor vehicle UB2 154R, a Toyota Hiace, and UBE 535S, an Isuzu bus belonging to Link Bus Company. The crash occurred yesterday on the 8th of February 2026 at Chakatebe village along the Mitiana Mubende Highway in Kasanda district. It was at approximately 6 p.m. in the evening. And according to preliminary investigations, the crash occurred when the driver of the Toyota Hiace, who was traveling from Mitiana towards Mubende, attempted to overtake another motor vehicle at Chakatebe village and ended up colliding with an oncoming Isuzu bus. The collision resulted in the instant death of 6 passengers, while 2 others later succumbed to their injuries. All the deceased were occupants of the Toyota Hiace. 4 other passengers also occupants of the Toyota Hiace. So no one was injured in Link bus. And the injured were rushed to the nearby health facilities for medical attention. Careless overtaking. I talked about it. Okay, let me switch to Uganda. Tugende mu Uganda.
A minute.
Switching ebyuma byamwe tutambule. Mbalamusiza tuli wano okwogera gye muli naddala ku nsonga egy'okuzza abaana mu masomero ku by'enguudo. Tukimanyi nti olunaku olw'enkya amasomero officially bwe gatandika okuba nga gaggulawo, nti okutandika taamu esooka oba first term mu mwaka guno. Era tumanyi nti enguudo zaffe zitera okubaawo ebintu bingi ebyenjawulo okwetooloola eggwanga, omuli abantu abangi n'emmotoka ennyingi nga zitambula. Era ne tulabamu obumenyi obw'amateeka g'ebyoku nguudo naddala mu nsonga bw'etyo, nti emmotoka ezisinga zeetika abantu bangi abasukka etteeka beriragira, abalala ne basiba emigugu ku mmotoka emigugu egyo n'ebikka n'enamba, ate egyo misango. Abamu ne bavuga emmotoka nga tebalina ebisaanyizo oba ebibakkiriza okuvuga ezo emmotoka, n'emisango mirala mingi nnyo nga tetwalabidde n'abaana abangi abajja kutandika okuba nga bakolesa enguudo nga batambuza ebigere. So buli bwe tusigala nga tuvugisa ekimama ku nguudo ne tuvuga obubi ne tuvuga speed, obwana buno obuto, abaana abato naddala abo abatambula buli ku makya nga bagenda mu masomero ne bakomawo n'akawungeezi, era obulamu bwabwe bubeera mu katyabaga. So tetujja kwerabira nti obutebenkevu ku nguudo buba buvunaanyizibwa bwa buli muntu, era kino kye nandyagadde okubategeeza nti ku mbeera bw'etyo buli muntu bannange alina kyalina okukola, alina omulimu gw'alina kukola okulaba nti abaana baffe balamu nga bwe bakolesa enguudo zino. Nga tonatunulira ku ekyo traffic police oba poliisi kyeyina okukola, sooka weetunuleko ggwe nga omukolesa w'oluguudo, ovugirako piki, ovugirako emmotoka, gwenga nanyini issomero oba akolesa ow'essomero gwenga omuzadde oba alabirira ono omwana n'abantu mwenna okwetooloola eggwanga abakolesa enguudo. Era mwe abavuga ebidduka ku nguudo, kino kitegeeza ki? Nti engeri gi abaana bajja kubeera bangi ku nguudo, kikulu nnyo okuvuga ate nga tugoberera naddala amateeka aga speed. Ffenna tukimanyi nti speed yekyasinze okuviirako obubenje obusinga, nti ate omuntu gw'okoona ng'oli ku speed ey'amaanyi ayina chances ntono nnyo ez'okusurvivinga okusinga ono gw'okoonedde ku speed entono nga 3 n'okudda wansi. So mulina okuvugira ku speed eziragiddwa oba speed entono nnyoko, naddala ng'abaana naddala okwetoolola oba okulerana n'amasomero kubanga gatera kubeera bize nnyo, oba n'ebifo ebirala ebibaamu abaana n'abazadde n'abantu abalala bakolesa enguudo. Kikulu nnyo okugoberera endagiriro zonna eziri ku nguudo nga kwotadde n'endagiriro ez'aba officers ku nguudo. Nti abasinga tubayimiriza ne mugaana okuyimirira. Ogwo guba musango. Buli poliisi bwekuyimiriza ku luguudo yimirira, ebeeko byekebera, bwesanga nga buli kimu okiina bajja kukuta ogende. Mwewalenga okuvugisa ekimama. Okuvugisa ekimama mwe muli abo abavuga ne bayisiza we batalina okuyisiza, abavuga nga wali abakwata emmotoka ne baziteekako emigugu mingi. Olw'okuba nti kati abaana bangi abagenda mu masomero ag'enjawulo, emmotoka zitera okukwata abaana abangi ne zibatikka munda, abasuuka eteeka kyeriragira, ate ne bakwata n'emigugu gy'abo abaana, amakeesi, emifalasi ne babiteeka waggulu w'emmotoka. Of course ekizitoya emmotoka ate netatambula bulungi nga bwe yandibadde nga etambula nga teetisse ebyo ebintu. So ebyo byonna misango gye tuli wano okubawoninga nti tulina okugyewala, naddala nga tutwala bano abaana n'abo abavuga nga balina okutaataganyizibwa okulala. Ali mu kuvuga bw'ali ku simu ayogera, ali mu kuvuga bw'ali mu kulya, bw'ali mu ku WhatsApp, TikTok n'ebirala byonna. Ate waliwo n'abo abavuga nga bo batamidde. Nti waliwo abo abagenda bw'asasula fees w'abaana n'amumalayo amanya nti kati agenda mu kusanyuka ate ng'ayagala kuvuga. Ebyo mulina obyewala kubanga bireeta obubenje. Tufunyeewo obubenje oba tugyesalinzeko obubenje naddala mu season zino eziweddewo, nti abazadde bali mu kuva kutwala abaana ne batambula speed oba ne bavuga obubi ne bafuna obubenje ne batutuuka ewaka. Abamu ne bakosebwa n'abalala ne bafa. So bye tubagamba tubirabyeko ate tubimanyi. Tubeere bulindaala naddala nga tuvuga mu budde obw'okumakya nga tugenda kukola wadde temulina baana mwabavuga, naye waliwo abo abaana abakolesa amakubo eyo gye muvugira oba gye mutambulira. So abaana bano bannange mubavugirenga obulungi. Abaana bano tolaba omwana nga ayagala okusala oluguudo agenda ku ssomero ate n'osigala ku speed yemu gy'otambulirako. Yimirira, teri kyekikukosa okuyimiriza eno emmotoka n'osignalinga oba n'olagira ono omwana okusala oluguudo naawe olyoke otambule. Jjukira nti ono gw'ovugira obubi wadde tomanyisi gwa muzaala, naye naawe olina ababo bwe wazaala waliyo gye bali bw'ovugira ono obubi bajja bavugira obubi. Eri abazadde n'abo abalabirira abaana n'abantu abalala, kikulu nnyo okusigala nga musomesa abaana oba ne mubayigiriza biki ebyo ebirina okukolebwa nga tuli ku nguudo. Abaana abamu bamanyi okutambula nga bazanyira ku nguudo obupiira n'ebintu ebirala. Mubawoninge nga muleme okulinda traffic police, naye namwe guno mulimu gwammwe nga abazadde b'abaana abaana. Obwana obuto muleme obulekerera mu abazadde, n'osanga akaana ka myaka nga 3-4 mazima omuzadde wazaala omwana n'omulekerera atambule ku luguudo yekka, okuli pikipiki, okuli amamotoka. Nedda, abaana bano mubayambengako okubatwala mu masomero oba mubawa abaana abakulu ababasingako emyaka abasobola okubalagirira nga babatwala mu masomero ate n'okubakomyawo. Abazadde tubasaba elements ez'abaana weeziri abaana abato. Bino bwe tubyogerako mulowooza nti twatandise bizinesi eza elements. Kino kiyamba eri abaana bammwe bino tubimanyi ne gwe tugenda ku enforcing bagamba tunonya school fees nedda kye tuliko okulaba nti abaana baffe balamu ku nguudo ebintu ebimu tubijjemu omuzannyo tulabye abaana nga bafa mu bubenje buno olw'obulajjagavu bw'abazadde n'abalala so abaana bano mubafunira obuheremensi obw'abaana mubabambazenga nga batula ku pikipiki zino n'osanga abazadde abamu ne beekwata amaka nga 3 ne bapangisa piki emu ne bateekako obwana 6 bino byonna tuberabye kati ffe temujja kusuubira ffe aba traffic oba poliisi okuyimiriza epiki tesobola kurisikinga kubanga bw'oteekayo omukono okuyimiriza oli bwakankanayiza n'okubukuba wansi naffe tujja kugula emyaka 12 yasobola okuba nga akwatirako ono obulungi ku piki ne batambula obulungi so, tetusuubira okulaba pikipiki ezeetika abaana 4 5 6 azif eri motoka nedda kikulu nnyo n'okukolesa emmotoka ezo zemulaba nti zezikkirizibwa okuba nga zitambuza abaana abantu amasomero agamu olw'okwagala okumaximizinga profits oba sente bakolesa emmotoka ebitategerekeka ono afunyemu kimotoka kya miliyoni nga 2 akitadde ku luguudo kitambuza abaana kimotoka buno motoka obutona yakiteekamu abaana nga 20 bino byonna tubiraba so mwe abazadde temutuula eyo ne musirika nti mulinze traffic okwenforcinga mutuule ne bana abazadde abasomesa bemuwa ssente zammwe bafune means of transport ezireliable oba entuufu ezisaana okuba nga zitambuza abaana oluusi tukola prompt checks n'oyimiriza emmotoka nga costa n'ogisangamu abaana nga 50 nga bonna bali mu kutuuyana olw'okuba nti mubattaddemu mubapakidde wamu kati fe buli tubakwata ate nebataka okugamba poliisi lwaki temukwatula ekisaba n'abaana tuyinza obakwatula ekisaba ate ne batatuuka gye bakola ki gye balaga so tubasaba abazadde muveeyo gye muli gye mwebakidde mumanye nti nebino mubiinako eddoboozi mubiinako voice yamwe ng'abazadde muinfluensi ng'amasomero gano galeme okwagala ssente okusinga obulamu bw'abaana bammwe be mubaweereza oli mu kumwerera okufuuka dokita naye ate naagwa mu kabenje olw'obulajjagavu lw'abo ab'amasomero naamwe abaana kikulu nnyo okumanya nti bw'oba otambula ku luguudo temuzanyira ku nguudo ate mukoleseze emmotoka ezitaxi ezinako ebikuubo mukolese pikipiki zemumanyi oba abazadde ze babawadde si buli motoka ntijja kujja n'ogikolesa ezimu zirina mutinti ezimu zirina ebigendererwa ebitali birungi ebyokuba kidnappinga n'okukola ebintu ebirala so tulina okubeera begendereza nga abaana bwe tuba nga tutambula tumanya ludda ki lwe tulina okutambulirako nti nyina okutambulira ku ludda lwenyina okuba nga ndaba emmotoka enzinva mu maaso and that is the right hand side omukono ogwa ddyo nti wotambulira nga bwolaba traffic ekuviira mu maaso wabaawo ekizibu kyonna abamu nga bwe batera kukola ne basibako emiteyimbwa nga tobalaba ne basibako amabaati nga tobalaba kati n'obaako osobola okuddukira n'atakkoona namwe ab'amasomero kikulu nnyo okusigala nga musomesa bano abaana bulijjo at least mubaweeyo nga tips biki bye balina okukola ku nguudo muleme okulinda traffic okubasomesa naye namwe mukole omulimu gwammwe ng'abasomesa okulaba nti abaana bano essaawa yonna bamanyi ki kye balina okukola ku nguudo ebifo abaana bano be babadropingako nga babaleeta kuva ewaka ate nga babapikinga akawungeezi ebifo bino birina okuba nga bimenyiddwa ate nga ne mubibiteekako ne bano ab'obendera ate nga balina okuba nga bambala obujakets obutangaala nti balina okuba nga balabika essaawa yonna kubanga ebifo byetambulidemu ebyomasomero nga tusomesa okwemulugunya kwagana amasomero okusinga nti mwe aba bodaboda abasinga ku masomero gano muvugirako obubi nnyo njukira waliwo obwana obuto so tumanye bino ebifo bebateekako bano abaana obendera buno tubuyimirize abantu bonna bayimirira ab'emmotoka n'abapikipiki n'ab'obugaali abaana bano basale buli ssomero lina okuba nga likola ekintu ekyo kyendi mu kwogerako namwe ab'amasomero n'abogeddeko emmotoka zemukolesa nga mutambuza bano abaana muzegenderezenga emmotoka ziganyegenya tezirina mipiira abazivuga tetubategeera bannange bino byonna mulina okuba nga mubyewala bwe mulaba nti ebimu temubitegeera nga mmwe mukwatagane ne poliisi tulina ba IOVs mu regions zonna okwetoloola eggwanga tekimenya amateeka ate teri ajja kujjako sente okugenda eri ewa DPC oba RPC oba IOV oba RT oba OC traffic n'omusaba okujja okwekebejja eri abagoba bo ab'omu ssomero oba n'okulaba ebidduka bwe byokolesa oba biri bitya. Abamu mumanyi okukolesa abavuzi ba zino emmotoka zino zivaani nga batamidde oba namwe temukitegere nti batamidde, tulina zi breathalyzers muzikolese nga bakebere bano abavuzi b'emmotoka z'abaana okulaba nti balamu. bwe baba nga batamidde tunalaba ekyokwongerako nga eby'amateeka. So muleme okutya poliisi, mugituukirire, ejja kubanga ebayamba mu bintu mmwe bye mutasobola okutegeera nga mmwe nga ab'amasomero. Tukimanyi nti bibaawo. Abamu baagala, nkyogeddeko olw'okwagala okumaximising profits, ne beemployi nga abooluganda baabwe ab'enganda zaabwe be bavuga emmotoka zikosta nga permits tebaziina. Mwabazadde bwe mutula meetings ng'ez'amasomero, ebintu ng'ebyo mulina okubyekebejja, mulina obyetegereza. Baani abavuga abaana baffe, balina ebisanyizo, balina licenses. Ebyo byonna bwe mba tembitegeera, mu inviting osi traffic abalabire. Bwe banga tebiriiyo tutandikirawo. Njabbawo akabenje ke twafunyeeyo olunaku olwajjo ku luguudo lw'e Mubende, era abantu 8 be baafiiridde mu ako akabenje n'abalala 4 ne bakosebwa. Akabenje kano kabaddewo makati w'emmotoka 2, emu nga ya kika kya Toyota Hiace oba kamunye UBQ 154R ne UBE 535S, eno nga ya kika kya bus Isuzu ya Link. Akabenje kano nga bwe mbagambye kabaddewo jjo olunaku olwajjo ennaku z'omwezi 8 ku kifo eky'Akatebe ku luguudo lw'Emityana Mubende mu district ey'e Kasanda. Zabadde saawa nga 12 ez'akawungeezi. Okusinziira okukakolebwawo, kigambibwa oba kiraga nti omuvuzi owa kamunye yabadde ng'atambula ava Emityana ng'adda e Mubende, n'agezaako okuba nga ayisa emmotoka endala ate kwekonagana n'emmotoka eyo eya bus. Ekyaviiriddemu ekyo nti abantu 6 be bafiiriddewo ate n'abalala 2 ne bafa oluvannyuma nga bamaze edda okuba nga baddusibwa mu ddwaliro. Ate bonna abafudde babadde nga batambulira mmotoka eya kamunye, ate n'abo abakoseddwa nabo babadde mmotoka eya kamunye. Kitegeeza nti mu bus teri muntu eyakoseddwa yenna. Okunoonyereza kukyagenda mu maaso ate nga bwe tunoonya ne omugoba w'eyo minibus oba kamunye, ono ye yadduse naye poliisi eri mu kumunoonya. Kweno ensonga nga bwe tutera bagamba nti ate bwe kitera kuba nti obubenje obusinga buviira mu kuyisiza wetalina okuyisiza. Omu yagamba nti lwaki lwojja n'otugamba nti akabenje kaguddewo lwa careless overtaking, bwe kiba sisobola kwogera kirala ekyawuka ne kwekyo ekiba ekiriwo oba ekibaawo. So tulina okwewala naddala nga tutambula, naddala mu kaseera kano twewalenga okuvuga ate ne tuyisiza wetalina okuyisiza, naddala nga tosobola kulaba ekiri mu maaso go at least meters nga 2, kyabulabe nnyo. Ng'amaliriza, fenga police traffic tuli ku nguudo okwetoloola eggwanga okulaba nti abaana batambula bulungi n'abazadde n'abantu abalala bonna, okwenforcinga ku ebyo ebintu bye njogeddeko, naddala ebireeted ne ku bumenyi bw'amateeka nga tuzza abaana mu masomero. Naye ate tetukoma ku ekyo, n'okusomesa okw'enjawulo mu masomero nakwo kujja kutandika engeri gy'abaana bazzeeyo nga bwe tukikola bulijjo. Naye tukusaba kola omulimu gwo obutebenkevu ku nguudo buvunaanyizibwa bwa buli muntu. Tuleme okulinda traffic yokka oba poliisi, naye naffe ne tumanya nti tulina kye tulina okukola oba kitandikira ku ggwe ku nze okulaba nti tuli safe ku nguudo. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Nkozemu enanka muteza nkozemu
Number of bus again.
Can't be sure. Nkozemu ensobi nasaze nga sigiwandiiseemu. Basi eri UBE